Okay, everyone, welcome to week one of Art 202, Art Appreciation. At this point, hopefully, you have your textbook. You also have viewed the introduction to the class. If you didn't catch that, if you go back to the learning activities, this is what I'm talking about, this introduction to art appreciation. Make sure you go ahead and take a look at that. That'll give you an overview of the whole class. Right now, we're going to focus on week one. What is art? So this is our first week. And every week I have a weekly agenda. This one's a little bit longer just because it has an introduction. So again, remember this is an introductory course suited for both art and non-art majors. It talks about what we're going to be investigating over the next 8 weeks, all that good stuff. So each week you'll have an agenda, and I'm going to list everything that's going on. And any special dates I'll put in here as well. So for example, just for your information, November 2nd is the last day to add a course for credit. So just in case you're looking at your schedule and want to add something and change something around, November 2nd is the last day to do that. So this week we have a reflect journal. We're going to be doing some reading. We have a lecture. We have an Artist of the Week presentation, and we have our quiz. Remember, everything is due no later than day 7. Remember, classes start on a Monday. Monday is day 1, so Sunday is day 7. So at 11:59 p.m., I just say that your work's due at midnight, basically Sunday night. I say 11:59 p.m. because sometimes students get confused if that, sometimes they think it's Saturday night at midnight and they get, I don't know why they do that, but they get confused. So here we go. So before you do anything else, before you do any reading, I would like for you to do this reflect journal. So it's still not due till Sunday at midnight, but do this first. And so what you're going to do is write a 1 to 2 page double-spaced 12-point font paper. It's just, this is a reflection, so don't freak out. Oh my gosh, right off the bat, I've got a big paper. No, it's just quick, 1 page or so. And as if you were explaining the term art to a person who has never heard it before, explain the meaning of art and its purpose according to your own personal philosophy. So consider what qualifies as art and what may not. This is an opportunity to voice your open and honest perspective. This assignment is to be completed before any others in the curriculum have begun, and this is going to serve as kind of a litmus test for your growth over the next 8 weeks, because what we're going to do is during week 8, we're going to go back to this paper, you're going to take a look at it, and then you're going to rewrite it and see if anything has changed, what stayed the same of your opinion, so you can kind of gauge, what's gone on over the last 8 weeks of this course. You don't need to submit any attachments for this assignment. You just need to use the text editor to type your entry. So if you're new to online classes, this is how it works. So you go ahead and click on the assignment. You hit create journal entries. You see your instructions will be there as well. You can give it a title of what is art. And then this is where I want you to put your paper, right in here. So if you've done it in a Word document, for example, you can copy and paste it directly into here. It should keep the formatting. If formatting gets a little messed up, don't freak out about it. I'm not really, that critical on formatting in these. They're journal entries after all. These are where you get to voice your opinion. As long as it's readable, I'm not really looking at grammar and spelling and all of that unless it's just so distracting that I can't get through it. So these are very informal, these journal entries, these reflections. So this, don't do it, just ignore. And then you just hit post entry and it'll post. Journal entries are just between you and I, no one else sees them. So it's different than discussion boards or blogs in that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the learning activities. Here we go. So that's what I mean when I say use your journal text editor to write this paper. So just make sure it's the equivalent of 1 to 2 pages. I say 1 to 2 because I want you to kind of make sure you write 1 full page, but I don't want you to go over 2 pages. These are meant to be short. So what I would do is open up a Word document, type it up in there, and then copy and paste it. That way you know it's around the appropriate length. Okay, so this is your reading, your lecture, and quiz. They're all kind of grouped together each week in one item because usually your quizzes are based on on the lecture material that we go over each week. So before you take your quiz, make sure that you read in your looking at art text. chapters 1 and 2. So we're talking about the appeal of art and the aims of art. And like I said in the introduction video, we're going to read this whole textbook, but don't panic. I'm sure once you've got it, you see, oh, that's not that big a deal. Lots of images, big font. It's kind of a smaller book. Okay, and I've also included what is in this video. This is the lecture slide. So you'll want to make sure you download these, because throughout that presentation, there are links to little videos here and there that obviously you can't click on in a YouTube link because you're watching a video. So what I'll ask you to do throughout the lectures is, pause here, click on this link in your lecture slides and watch this little clip, and then continue on with the lecture video. Just as if I was talking to you in a classroom and I were playing those videos for you. So your quizzes are open note, open book. Is not in class. I don't expect you to not use that. So I'm completely fine with that. They're due no later than day 7 at midnight. Again, all your quizzes are multiple choice, true, false, matching, that kind of stuff. So there's no written portions in your quizzes. These are just meant to kind of make sure you're doing your reading, you're looking at your lecture material, and you're understanding that. So it helps me gauge, okay, these are the things that students are obviously not grasping, because I can see if a lot of you are getting certain questions wrong, etc. So lecture videos, I will always embed them right here into Blackboard, but I'll also give you the link as well in case this embedded version isn't working. So if this doesn't work here, you should be able to click here or copy and paste this into your browser, and it should pop up. I also include vocabulary. These are terms that may or may not show up on your quiz. This week it's a fairly short list. Over weeks 2 and 3, there's a lot of vocabulary, because we're building up our kind of language of art, and it's a lot of formal terms, how we break down line, shape, color, all of that good stuff. So don't panic when you see those long vocabulary lists, because the lectures go over them in detail, and they're pretty easy to remember. Each week we will be having an Artist of the Week presentation. Sometimes these will have questions that you need to answer, so they are an assignment. Other weeks they're just enrichment activities, which basically means they're optional, but there's nothing that's due with them, but I'll have some cool documentaries and some artists to look at, all of that fun stuff. So this week you do have questions, so this is an assignment. I'd like you to view the documentary Vincent van Gogh Painted with Words, and I just had to update in Blackboard. The link that was in there before was no longer available. So this link that's in here should be working. If it doesn't work, please let me know. Worst case, there are some other really good documentaries on Van Gogh that I can change this out with. But this one stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and it is the best documentary on Van Gogh that I have seen, and I've pretty much seen them all. And it's all from the perspective of Van Gogh's letters. So all the dialogue that you hear that isn't the narrator is all actually directly from Van Gogh's mouth himself, or from the mouth of, who he's writing with, his brother, for example. He wrote a lot with his brother. So what I'd like you to do is watch the documentary, and I guarantee you will really enjoy it. It's a good one, watch it with your spouse, whoever, they'll enjoy it too, I think. Answer the following questions. Number 1, how is Van Gogh's work influenced by his religious convictions? 2, what part of Van Gogh's story did you find the most relatable? And 3, if you can say anything to Van Gogh or ask him any question, what would it be? These are just short answers. I'm thinking, 2 to 4 sentences for each of these. These aren't essay questions. This isn't meant to be a huge assignment. It's just short reflections to get you thinking about these ideas, thinking about artists in a new way. So you can just use the text editor, just like for the journal. What I would do is do it like this. I would click on the link, and then I would hit Write Submission. And what I would do is I would just copy and paste our questions right in there. Oops. And then, format them so that you're just putting your answers right there. So it's just real quick and easy. Nothing, that has to be very formal. So this week's assignments are very informal. We will have formal written assignments later on in the session. So that is what we've got going on for this week. So again, your What is Art journal, make sure you complete that before you do any reading, watch any lecture material, and Artist of the Week, any of that. So do that first. because that will give you a better idea of how you started off before you started to be influenced by any of our material. And you also have your reading, so chapters 1 and 2, your lecture material. Make sure that you watch that, watch any links that are in there as well, and your quiz. And then you also have your Artist of the Week presentation. And that's it for week 1. Any comments, any questions, any concerns about anything at all, please don't hesitate to ask me. And have a great week.